Hey, I'm sorry to tell you your mom has
I just
cancer.
love the enthusiasm in your voice.
I've spent more than a decade inside and alongside law firms and just excited to get into it here.
As a good attorney, the higher up you go,
Trust me, as a marketer, I know that's important.
now do I like you as a leader? Do I like you as a human?
I think that makes so much sense. So,
Do I want you in my office?
an attorney would need for
And
success.
what do you want as your style?
Oh my gosh,
Marketing.
right?
How do you, as a human, want to be known?
I call myself the SEO sommelier.
I won't put you on the spot unless you want me to, Eric, about your style words.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Search Bar, the podcast for law firm leaders who want smarter, more sustainable growth without the guesswork. And wine is optional. I'm Eric Ritter, the SEO sommelier and founder of Digital Neighbor. I've spent more than a decade inside and alongside law firms, helping them grow with marketing that actually drives cases, not just clicks. On this show, we focus on what truly works, from sharper strategy and better systems to practical insights you can apply right away. That's also why I bring in subject matter experts who understand how law firms attract the right clients, increase case value, and build long-term momentum. And if you're ready to take the next step, check out my Motion for Marketing system. It starts with a free discovery session to see if it's a right fit for you and your firm. No fluff, just a clear path forward. You'll find a link to book a call with me in the show notes. Now to today's show. I'm really excited because we're talking about a tool every lawyer uses every day, yet very few have actually mastered: communication. Whether you're in the courtroom, a boardroom, or a consultation, your presence and your voice are often the deciding factor in your success. To help us master that craft, I'm joined by Laurie Schloff. Laurie is the president of Partners in Communication, an absolute powerhouse in the world of executive coaching. She's worked with thousands of professionals, authored 3 books, and you might have seen her sharing her expertise on Oprah or the Today Show. Laurie, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the Search Bar.
I am so excited to be here, and I'm going to point out I've already told you you're such a great communicator, but I just love the enthusiasm in your voice. And a lot of professionals could really use you as a role model that way because I think you convey a passion for what you do. And I really, really appreciate that. It's making me energized here in the morning.
I appreciate it, Lori. Like you said, it's in the morning here, it's early, and just excited to get into it here. But before we do, even though it is early, we like to start off talking a little bit
Hey.
about a wine that we can pair with today's episode. I call myself the SEL sommelier, and I couldn't help but notice your wine choice for today. You recommended a Robert McNeil Sparkling Rosé. Personally, I really
Yes.
love this pick because a good sparkling rosé is really can be bright, sophisticated, and it's exactly what we're talking about today, right? When it comes to leadership presence.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love this particular brand. As you well know, way better than me, the quality and the preference that an individual has can be all over the place, even with it's the same type of wine. So this is one I landed on, and I'm excited because I get it in the mail every, I think, 8 weeks, probably more than that, and I wouldn't be able to talk to you without slurring, but
That's funny. I
yeah.
love a good wine club that or good subscription
Yes.
like that because you know. On the one side, you can discover new wines, but also if you know what you like, you're never going to run out of it. You know, you always have it.
Yes, beautiful. Well, I like learning about wines and everything else from you. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lori. Well, let's dive in. Like we said earlier, communication, it's so important. Many law firm owners or managing partners spend time obsessing over case law or lead flow, which, trust me, as a marketer, I know that's important.
yeah.
But there's one thing that really dictates that success of both and really everything, and that's communication. So that's if you're negotiating with someone, you're doing a consultation, or you're consoling even a grieving family, or just leading that internal team as the leader of the firm, the way you show up and speak determines how far you can grow and how quickly you can grow. Because if you can't communicate your value, you're leaving revenue reputation on the table. So, from your perspective, Lori, as that expert, what do you think are the most, or what can you share with us, the most important communication skills that an attorney would need for success?
First, I want to agree with you. And one way to see it is you bring to your work your professional expertise, which is very important. All the stuff attorneys know that I don't know. And then on top of that, you have your communication skills. Now, both are critical for success. And here's something very important. As your reputation is established as a good attorney, the higher up you go or want to go, the more that communication matters. Because you know what? It's assumed you're fantastic as an attorney. Now, do I like you as a leader? Do I like you as a human? Do I want you in my office? And from the attorney's point of view, am I persuasive? Am I establishing relationships? Am I getting comfortable, with networking? So, in preparation for the show, though, I was thinking about a few ideas to share with your listeners. Please just jump in and ask me about them. One is I would like your firm or you as an individual attorney to determine what do you want as your style. And this definitely overlaps with marketing. How do you, as a human, want to be known? And I ask people to come up with two, adjectives, and we call those your style words. One might be more appealing to the brain, like expert or knowledgeable, and the other is more relationship, approachable, trustworthy. So the combination in Aristotle, I hate to get too heady here, but Aristotle talked about the methods of persuasion. So one is logos, appealing to the brain, and the other is pathos, appealing to the emotions or the heart. So come up with your style words. I won't put you on the spot unless you want me to, Eric, about your style words, but
No, I think that makes so much sense, though, to jump in there, right? Is we need to appeal to the, like you said, the logical side of things, kind of the brain, but also kind of more that emotion or that gut feeling of people. Like, why do people like you? And that's something, I've struggled with, Lauren, that I've had to kind of reconcile kind of what is that more, that is this more of a feeling or is this more of a fact, right? And you want to make sure that you're covering both of those, that factually, hey, I really like this, but also from a feeling standpoint, I could see myself with this person or connecting with them as well. So I think that makes so much sense, kind of breaking it up into those two different parts.
from the attorney's point of view, how am I doing with the knowledge I'm giving? How am I doing with the relationship? And it's always on your mind. It's always there. So I was thinking of a few skills that are particularly important. We could actually start with what we were just talking about, which are the people skills, and that's anything that our research and our experience tells us helps to build relationships. So, something an attorney can ask, and a way they should actually evaluate service providers like us is our listening skills. Does your client, does a potential partner in business feel that you get them? And if you look at a conversation over time, there should be what's called reciprocity. 50% me talking, 50% you talking. Now, the first consult maybe involves a lot of listening to a client or, as you know, as you and I both know. Then we might get more into, they want to hear what the heck we do, then we do more talking. But this is an awareness that am I giving this time for this person to express themselves? And I think you and I love that because we get to customize. Well, the more we listen, the more we can customize our marketing or our communication program. So that's one area. The people skills. Am I likable? Am I approachable? And this doesn't have to be a mystery. Are some people born friendlier? Yeah. Can you become an approachable and friendly person? Yes. And Eric, that's what my work is all about. It's all about skill and technique, even if you don't feel you were born that way.
I think that's so
Yeah.
important, and especially when we talk about law firms, attorneys, and having a differentiator, right? So if you're making a decision to work with a law firm or an individual attorney, is to your point, you want to make sure that this is someone who you think are they going to really give it their all, right? Are they really going to care about me as an individual, about my case, about my situation, not just from a legal standpoint, but also as a person, right? And so I think to your point, that's something that you need to be able to communicate, right? If that's that initial consult, or if that's, let's just say, the case is taking longer than you anticipate it was, the client's not happy, and you be able to communicate with them of like what's happening, right? Because if you just throw a bunch of facts of them at them, right? This is what the judge says, what the opposing counsel is doing, their eyes are going to glaze over. They're not going to care. You need to be able to communicate that in a way that breaks it down for them that they understand that you actually care about them, and that you want to see this through and help them succeed. And to your point, the further up you get, right, that leader of the firm, the better you need to be at that, because the higher stakes it gets, those kind of interactions and those types of communications, that are the type of communication that you're part of.
Yeah. So we've got the people skills, and don't take it for granted, because guess what? Surprise, surprise. It's a competitive world out there. And when people are asked, why didn't you go with ABC firm? They'll often say, I just didn't get a good feeling, or they seem rushed. So believe me, it's everything, because they want you to know the law. They don't
Right.
want to worry about that. They want to determine if they're comfortable and trust you. And there again, my field is all about what are the tools you can use. So going on to something else I complimented you on, another important skill for attorneys is to be great at what we call delivery. And no, it has nothing to do with childbirth, but delivery refers to how you sound and how you come across visually. I'm sure we're both still working with people who don't look great in the virtual world. They're just not conscious of it, or they're not conscious of what they're wearing, and even beyond that, most important would be your facial expression. And Eric, from the beginning, one thing I liked about you is your face is expressive. And we do find males are less expressive than females. And it's important to know about yourself. Do you look welcoming? And again, everyone says, I don't want to be phony. So the goal is combining your authentic self with learning these best practices. So I thought of two best practices from the toolkit. So everybody, I developed a toolkit called the Presence26 Toolkit. It's 26 tools that have been honed by my work with thousands of individuals and also research that I help people with when they're my clients or when I'm training coaches. So I have those two prongs. So one skill is called vocal variety, the ability to use your voice as a tool. So it's great to meet you, Eric. It's great to meet you, Eric. So in English, one word in every sentence or phrase stands out. And it's
Oh,
the
that makes
way we judge someone's enthusiasm.
Yeah. It's where they put that, where they like, in my mind, it's like where you underline in that sentence, right? What do you focus,
Exactly.
and that it makes such a big difference. Yeah, absolutely. Huh.
Right. And let's face it, sometimes things that you're sharing with clients can be on the duller side. They're not that emotional. So you have to find a way to, let's put it this way, say boring things in an interesting way.
That's a skill in itself, right? Being
Yes.
able to do that. Wow. Yeah.
Yes. And attorneys really have to do that. They really have to do that. So that's oral image. In terms of nonverbal, I would, let's start with the essential. Are you mastering, for example, when you're in the virtual world, which most of us are in, are you mastering looking at the camera when you're talking? And are you are you showing a range of facial expression? Like right now, I'm just maybe being, relaxed Laurie, but I'm not looking friendly. I have to know what it looks like to look friendly. And in my field, we actually operationalize it. It's a slightly widened mouth, slightly raised eyebrows. I know it again, it sounds too artificial, but the goal is to integrate these kinds of skills with your natural self.
Almost that they kind of blend in, right? That it becomes
Exactly.
almost like natural second nature. And just something that reminded me of. And one of the reasons, like, I think that really helped me is someone sent me a video, a YouTube video, and it was a comedian who was
Yeah.
talking about eyebrows. And so he did a whole bit about delivering lines differently with eyebrows up and down, what he called eyebrow winks. I thought that was really
Oh,
interesting.
I want you've
Like,
gotta send me
yeah,
that.
so I will send
That
that
sounds really
afterwards
good.
to you, and it's like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to tell you your mom has cancer," and like, "Oh my gosh." But if you do it, like, with an eyebrow wink, it's like, is he serious? Is he not serious? What a difference, kind of the whole
Fascinating.
conversation just based on the eyebrow winks, and so
I love it. I
it's the
love it.
power of the facial expressions. It's so interesting how it changes
Yeah.
the whole dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. And these days, surprise, surprise, I'm getting a lot of clients who want to be good on video for obviously for their marketing video, but also we're moving in the direction of using video even for just everyday communication. So it's not easy to be good on video.
No.
People's fears have kept me in business, believe me.
And people just become like a deer in the headlights a lot of time once the camera is on, right? They can be a great communicator, but once you have to look into a camera, oh my gosh, right? It's a whole different ballgame for them. And but I think it's a skill that you can acquire over time, right? I'm a big fan of sports, and we always talk about, the more repetitions you get, the better you get at something. And I think
Oh my gosh, yes.
part of it as well, right? Just need to practice and get out there and get in those reps, right? Get in those reps so that when you get more
Absolutely, absolutely.
comfortable.
And that's where coaching really comes in very handy, is you have someone who's sharing skills, but also, you're kind of accountable.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's
Eh,
so important. Yeah.
yeah. So we mentioned people skills, delivery skills, and then the third is, how do you get information across in a way that people can understand it? And we joke that there's a separate language called legalese,
Yeah.
and it's true. I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be, but contracts, etcetera, can be very difficult. So here's a very simple method. You first of all, you've got to be aware of what your client or person you're talking to doesn't understand. So and you want to say, "Let me define," and I'll just make something up. "Let me define articulation for you." Articulation is the movement of the speech organs in order to create sound. Now, for example, when I say "buh," I'm moving together, obviously, my upper and lower lip to create the sound "buh" or "b." So what did I just do? State the term, give a definition, and you might have to practice. What is the definition of legally binding? You have to figure all that out. Have your own glossary, and then give an example. Examples are very important for people getting things. For example, a stress reduction technique is simply to squeeze together your thumb and your middle finger. No nails, but
Okay.
and let's say right now you're giving me criticism. You have no idea I'm releasing all my stress into my fingers. So that's an example of an example.
Examples are so important. Absolutely. Especially, the more complicated it gets, right? For me in marketing, no one cares. SEO, no idea what that is. PPC, no one knows what that is. But like, hey, we make sure, if someone is in an accident and they're searching for an attorney, we want to make sure you come up first. Like, oh, that makes so much more sense versus, hey, we're just going to do SEO for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need to bring it to life and paint a picture.
Right. And probably in your business, you could even do it with them, like type in partners in communication. How do I come up?
Yeah.
And then you could say to me, Laurie, I'd like you to be, in the top 10. Yeah.
I think that's, and to your point, especially in the legal world, right? Like legalese is almost like a comedic term that's
It
used, right?
is.
You
It
know, it's
is.
like, "Oh, that's
It's
just
a joke.
legalese." Right, it's a joke, and so you need to be able to turn that legalese, take it out of being a joke to, like, this is what it really means to for you, and this is why, why it does this and that, and so I think examples are a great way to turn legalese into something more tangible for people.
Yeah. Also, you know that different clients want different amount of detail. The amount of information you pack in is called pacing. I'm the type of person, let's say I go to a dentist. I don't want a ton of information. And I'm savvy enough to say, doctor, I don't need the details, okay? I trust you. There's other people who are totally the opposite. They want to hear every detail of what Eric is doing. So pacing is the amount of information you put into your conversation. And it occurs to me you want to gear it to what your client or colleague prefers. So just say, do you want me to go into a lot of detail? It's a constant back and forth. Is that sufficient information? Do you need more? Is that too much? I can pare it down.
Yeah. I like what you said there
Mhm.
about asking people because a lot of times, even for me personally, I I'm worried like am I giving too much information? Am I getting too little information? How much should I be sharing here? So I like the key that you gave there is like just ask the other person, right? Do you need more detail, less detail? Because
Yeah.
honestly, I had not thought of that before. I'm in practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and plus,
it's so eye opening. Yeah.
I mean, you and I get excited about what we do, but a great line is, "Let me stop here. Let me stop here. I wanna check in with you." That's something that everyone can easily memorize and say, but you just have to remind yourself to do it. You might be excited about, talking about a coffee cup, but they could, care less, and they have to go on to their next appointment.
That's so true. Yeah, no, absolutely. And kind of meeting people where they are as well, I think is important. Especially, you know, um, depending on what your practice area is, some people might already know a lot or, they just want the facts or they want to know everything about it. So understanding kind of where they are and then meeting them there and then being makes you so much more of an effective communicator.
Absolutely, and they'll leave with a very good feeling. So that's another thing is to think about how did something go? What did I do well? What could I do better? And I begin each session with my clients by saying, tell me about the week. What went well? And what are your observations about what you could improve?
Yeah. And so the Presence 26 method that you mentioned, Lori, that you teach to people for attorneys, are there any certain levers in there that you think are especially helpful for them when it comes to maybe let's step outside of the box? We're talking about like potential clients or um, inside the firm, but what about if they're like in a deposition or if they're in a high stakes situation? They want to make sure they're getting kind of that respect, not being talked over.
Yeah. So the toolkit focuses on three areas: messaging, high impact, high influence, organized, oral image, how you sound, speech, voice, ability to hold attention, and then nonverbal. So how you control your visuals, your materials, how you control yourself, which we talked about. Very specific, like the four levels of gestures. And then in any program, we customize.
So, Lori, I want to focus a little bit more on the Presence 26 method. I'm really fascinated by that. And if you could give some examples, how do you work with people through the Presence 26 method, and maybe even some quick takeaways for people that are watching or listening that they could learn from that.
So the Presence 26 toolkit is a set of tools in three areas. One is what you say, what makes a message interesting organized and high impact. So that's the message. Then there's oral image, how you sound, and that has a bunch of tools in it. And that is ability to hold attention, to have a great voice, to control speed. We talked before about pace, the amount of material. And then the third area is nonverbal, your virtual world, how you interact with visuals or materials. Believe it or not, there's a science to that, to interact with a slide in a way that makes you, Eric, the center, as opposed to the, the slide. So the combination of learning these tools, think of it like you're going to graduate school. You learn a set of tools, but that doesn't help you to be great in the real world. It's just your fundamental toolkit. That's what Presence 26 is. Then in our programs for groups of attorneys or one-on-one for partners or leaders, we then customize another set of skills or tools for their exact situation. So, for example, if somebody has to give a deposition, how do you train them to be a good speaker at a deposition? Or, and this comes up a lot now, Eric, my leader attorneys want to get out there in the world. Why? We all know speaking to your group of partners is very different than speaking at a conference and trying to be entertaining. So
Absolutely.
we'll customize helping that person to become an inspirational, energetic speaker for their desired speaking events. And I do have a group of attorneys who will never want to do quote unquote public speaking. And then I have a group who really want to get good at it.
Yeah, I was about to ask there, has anybody ever come to you and you're like, "I'm sorry, you're a lost cause, I can't help you," or how, because a lot of people, they're afraid of public speaking, right? And they're like, "I'm
Yeah.
never gonna be able to do this," right? So do you have a way to help those kind of people that feel like, "I need to do this, but I don't even know where to start?"
Yeah, that's a great question. I've worked with thousands of people. I literally never had said in my mind, maybe there's been one or two I said they are not ready for prime time. It's never going to happen, but I'll tell you this. When I say that to myself, it's almost always cuz they don't put in what you were talking about before, the motivation and practice. Now,
So
if
if you're saying if
someone
you're committed to it, right? If you're committed to it, you're willing to put in the time and the practice, you're able to do it.
true. Now, but let's be real. Okay? There is 1/2 of 1% of the population who's born with a genius, art, music, speaking. So it's a very small percent. Now, the rest of us, maybe we're good, we can get to great. Average, we can get to good. So I'm being real with you.
Sure, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't really seen the leap from bad to great. I have seen weak to good. So everyone can get better. And you know what? You don't have to be perfect. Yes, you want to learn these best practices from the Presence 26 toolkit, of course. But then you're blending it with your natural style, and it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, your audience might like it if you're less than perfect.
Yep, makes you more approachable, and I also like
Exactly.
what I really like the most about how
Yeah.
you're kinda talking how about you work with people and your method is it doesn't seem 100% rigid, it's not 100% it's my way or the highway, it really is customized to the individual, right? It's customized to where you are, it's customized to where you want to go, and I think that's so powerful because a lot of times these programs are like, "Okay, here's step 1 through 10, good luck," but for you, it sounds like, "We're gonna really customize this and make it revolve around you so
I
that you
love doing that. And I bet you do too.
100%. That's the only way to really be successful is to really really articulate and really emphasize your natural strengths versus trying to be someone who you're not.
So yeah, so I guess that's um the last takeaway, which is everyone can use communication as a tool. to get to the next level of their career and their own personal satisfaction and success.
Amazing. And Laurie, before we head out, we do have a framework for mastering presence and leading a firm with total confidence. So I just have 5 quick bullet points here. I'll read them off. You just jump in. I always like to
Okay.
end the episode with some tangible takeaways for everyone. And we'll make
Okay.
sure we post the checklist in the show notes and on the website as well. So I'll just go through them real quick. So, number one is audit your 3 core communication skills, right? You want to bridge that gap between being a legal expert and a firm leader.
Right. And I'd say, like, listen to this as you listen to the podcast, write down what am I good at? What could I keep working on? And of course, if you work with a coach like me, we'll have a menu for you that you can choose from. Excellent.
Speaking of Presence 26, number two, apply one specific behavior from the Presence 26 method to shift that power dynamic and build instant authority in any room.
I love it. And remember, the three key areas are what I say, how I sound, and how I come across visually.
Number three, manage the physical symptoms of speaking anxiety, right? So using tactical tools designed to help you conquer the fear of public speaking. And I think that's so powerful, because
Yes,
you want to
yes. I
conquer
mean,
it.
we could have a whole show on that. But yeah, there's um, cognitive, how you think. Then there's physical, how you control the physical feelings. And then, as of course, we talk most about skills. Let's face it, when you're good at something, it reduces your fear.
I couldn't agree more. Number four, scale your firm's impact by coaching your team. And that's owning the stage, right? So that's from client intake, from that first touch point when someone picks up the phone and calls you, all the way through the courtroom presentations.
Absolutely. And I love coaching people for high stakes events, a big conference, a very important client meeting. And you're often in interviews where it's very competitive. So I love coaching people you don't want communication to be the reason you didn't get the gig.
Yeah. I love that. Five, last but not least, adopt the mindset of the commander in chief. I love that because that really ensures your firm leads with influence rather than just legal knowledge.
Right, and you're bringing up a very good point. In the past year, as a legacy program at this stage of my career, I wanted to sort of pay it forward. So now I'm working with people who are head of training or very interested partners in law firms who want to coach other people. So I do have a train the presentation coach program.
I love that. And Lori, I want to thank you so much for joining us and providing such a grounded, real world perspective. You said it a couple of times during the interview. I love that. Let's keep it real. And how we show up as leaders. It's easy to get buried in case files, metrics, numbers, etc. But you've really reminded everyone here that presence and empathy are truly irreplaceable when it comes to building trust and growing a practice. So before we wrap, we're going to obviously put your contact information into show notes on the website. But is there anywhere else we can connect or learn more about partners in communication and find the tools we
Sure.
discussed today?
Sure, of course, I'll leave my email. I don't know if you want me to say it out loud, but I'm kind
Yeah,
of a
sure.
fun person to Google. The reason is there's been so many years of interviews and, podcasts now for the past few years and articles. The name of the company my daughter says is the longest freaking name she's ever heard. Partners in Communication Inc. So I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. Partners in Communication Inc.com. That's not so terrible, right?
No. And I love everybody go out there, Google, search for Laurie Schloff,
Yes.
Schloff. And I think that's going to be a great activity for everyone. And for our listeners, if you're ready to scale smarter, not harder, and want a strategy that actually fits your firm, you can book a free discovery session through my Motion for Marketing system. You'll find the link in the show notes. And in today's episode was helpful, please share it with your colleagues. Leave a quick review. That's how more law firm leaders find insights that they need and to help them grow with confidence. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep building a law practice you genuinely enjoy. Laurie, thank you so much for joining today. Really enjoyed our conversation.
My pleasure. You're the best.